So today on Omni Garage, we're checking out Ryobi's planting and digging tool. So look, this is more commonly known as a post hole borer. They call it their planting and digging tool. And I've owned this for about 3 years now, and I have found this incredibly useful when planting trees, especially if you've got a whole lot of them to plant. So you may be able to see behind me here, they're very small at the moment, but we've got this hedge that's been planted. So there's about 80 trees that went in the ground, and using this planting and digging tool to actually dig the holes in order to put those in the ground saved me, I'd say, hours and hours of digging. And also it saves you pain as well, because you're not having to bend over awkwardly. This is really ergonomical to use. So let's show you how this works in action. Look, there's not too many features on this machine. First of all, your battery, that goes into the top of the unit. Now, Ryobi quote that using a 5 amp hour battery, you should be able to cut about 30, 150 millimeter diameter holes using this. So if you do have a lot of planting to do, you're going to want to have a few of these charged up. Now on the actual unit itself, you've got 3 different settings. So you've got forward, where the machine will rotate in a clockwise direction. You can pop it in reverse, where it will go in a counterclockwise direction. And then your default setting in forward is with kickback on. So what that means is that if you run into any roots, you hit anything in the ground, the machine will auto stop, which is really handy because it will save you from getting your wrist caught in this, and it will save you from some of those blooper videos that you may see on YouTube as well, where people are just spinning around on these machines. You can turn kickback off, so if you're pretty confident that you do need to dig big holes and there's not going to be any roots in the way, you can pop it into the middle, which takes that kickback protection off. So be warned, in this mode, you could go spinning, it could pull on your wrist really hard. So generally when I use this machine, we go kickback on. So in the 18 volt range, Ryobi only make this in one variant, which is brushless, and I think that's exactly the variant of this model that you want to have. Obviously you are putting a lot of pressure on this, it is doing a lot of hard work, especially if you're digging lots of holes back to back to back, blowing through these batteries. You're definitely going to want what this offers, which is the brushless motor. The way that you operate this, you've got a safety trigger on the handle. So basically in order to use the throttle, which is here, you can't click that in until this has been depressed. So you've got to go here, and then your machine will start to spin on you. So what we'll do, we'll show you a couple of holes, show you the ease that this can cut through some dirt, and we are working with some quite hard compacted dirt here right now. We'll dig a couple of small holes and then show you what this is like with kickback protection on and kickback protection off. Let me show you how this works. So right now we're in forward with kickback protection on, and what you want to do when you're using this tool, it's not going to work well if you don't put a lot of pressure down on it. So engage that throttle. And so it's obviously picked up some roots there. It's flashing kickback protection activated on there for me. So I know that I've hit something in the ground there. If I didn't have that on, I'd likely start to, wouldn't spin, but my wrist would probably lock on that machine there. So the way that you can get it out now, because you're not going to be able to pull that out, is you just flick the machine into reverse. So look, a tip I have on this machine as well, obviously you are going to have to put some weight into it as you go down. When you get to a point where this is at a depth where this is close to your thigh or your knee, I think you do want to lock it in, which should help with that kickback. So I'll show you exactly what I'm talking about here, digging another hole. So that's hit roots very, very quickly in that hole. That's where that kickback comes in handy, because if I went kickback off, turn kickback off on this, you're fighting the machine really, really hard, and the reason I stopped that there is because I was going to start turning on that. So Glenn's never used this machine before, so he's going to have a go as a first timer on it and just see how easy he finds it to dig a few holes back to back. So look, that's just over a minute, and we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 holes ready to plant in. So I think that kind of shows just how quick you can get your holes dug ready for planting versus actually if you were having to use a spade to dig those.
So you're definitely right. When you're digging this, you're going to have to put a bit of force and you're going to have to hold on quite tight because it will sort of spin you around. I definitely find that kickback function on there does stop that sort of jerkiness, but if you want to be a little bit tough, you can take that kickback off and you can sort of push through that, which does help to dig sort of this sort of dirt that's a bit more compact, I guess you could say. So I've used this tool for probably about 5 minutes. You just saw me dig those holes. The first thing I did notice is a bit sort of rickety. I mean, Glenn has had this for a while. He has dug quite a few holes and stuff, but the build quality is probably not quite as stout as you would like. I mean, this is the only sort of connection point between the machine and the actual blade here, and it's just a pin. So maybe that would be a bit better if that was a bit more solider. This top part is a bit plastic, but I mean, this is not one of those big sort of petrol powered machines that Ryobi do offer. So I would like to think that maybe if you did get that, you'd get a bit extra in terms of the quality. But if you're just digging little holes like this to plant a few plants in, then this is definitely going to save you back.
Yeah, and I mean, as I said earlier, you know, we used this to plant this hedge here. So all the way along, there were 90 trees that got planted, and we probably managed to get through that in the space of probably about an hour and a half all the way down here. So you can get through holes really quickly. As you saw, it took us a minute to dig those 6. So if we were planting 6 trees in, it's not a very time intensive job using this tool. Look, so there's a quick wrap up of the Ryobi 18-volt brushless planting and digging tool. So this tool's available here in New Zealand at $319 from Bunnings. So it is quite pricey for something you're most likely not going to use a whole lot. This is really a project-based tool, and you'll set it back in the shed until the next project comes up. So this is probably something that you could chip in with a few family members or a few mates, share it around, share the cost of it, and then that way you're not you're not $300 deep on a tool that you may pull out once a year. So look, that's about it today from Omni Garage. Make sure you check out our Ryobi tools playlist on the channel if you're interested in any other Ryobi content. But other than that, thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.